What's up, guys? It's your boy Mike with a Y. Do not get it twisted. And we're doing a what? We're doing a story time today. Doing things a little bit different. Some of you may know that I'm actually in the middle of writing a book about my life. So that, of course, means I have plenty of hilarious anecdotes to share with you guys. Thinking that this might be a regular thing. If that interests you, go ahead, click the bell, subscribe, do all the things so that YouTube can notify you every time I'm throwing some amazing content your way. Okay? Okay. So I got my coffee. And you guys saw that thumbnail. Today, we're talking about that time I peed on a dead body. Yeah, we're talking about that time I peed on a dead body. So this story starts all the way back in the 90s. And I don't know about you guys, but the adult men in my life, it was very popular for them in the 90s to be a part of these men's groups. Basically, how would I describe it? Have you seen Married with Children? You know how Al Bundy was a part of that No Ma'am group? It was kind of like that. Spiritual and life philosophy for the Neanderthal, perhaps. I think that comparing it to No Ma'am is bastardizing it a little bit, but it was along those lines, basically, like to channel your inner masculinity and like avoid at all costs being demasculated by your wives or your girlfriends, spouses, things like that. So it was not unlikely to come down Glacier Street where I lived on a Wednesday at like 10 o'clock at night and see a bunch of like men running up and down the street, howling at the moon with like war paint on. Yeah, this was all a part of my normal everyday life. So all that is to say, one day in the 90s, my dad and I were frantically driving from one of his real estate appointments to the location of one of these meetings that he was going to. He had a commitment of sorts, so he was like really stressed. If he didn't get there on time, they were gonna like make him do like 100 push-ups or like take a bunch of cold showers, something like to that effect. So he was like hustling back home, and it was like maybe like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and he was like running late. He was already gonna get in trouble with his boys, and basically he like pulled off the freeway in some obscure area, some part of Santa Monica, threw the car into a parking lot of an abandoned mortuary. And you see where this is going. Told me to sit tight in that car and wait about 30 to 40 minutes while he goes in and handles his commitment, whatever it was that day. So he leaves, and I'm just like sitting there rocking out to 102.7 Kiss FM. And just kind of like taking in my surroundings. I'm like sitting here in a dark car, in a dark parking lot with no other cars around me in front of this abandoned building, which was once a mortuary. So not the most ideal of situations. Again, my dad was like frantically trying to get to this appointment, so he wasn't thinking about where he was leaving me. He just didn't want to do any push-ups or cold showers, right? Take any cold showers. So after about like 15, 20 minutes, I'm just kind of like chilling there, and suddenly I have this like intense urge to go pee. Yeah. And although the scene is very spooky and kind of quiet and off the grid, we are literally right on like a major street in Santa Monica, so I couldn't just like hop out, whip it out and pee, right? So I gingerly get out of the car and I creep around the back of this abandoned mortuary to like a dumpster area, and they had like the fence around the little fence enclosure around the dumpster, right? And so, I found my little hiding space. I whipped it out. I started peeing. And of course, your 13-year-old mind is going to run rampant when you're peeing in the dark behind an abandoned mortuary. It says things like, I wonder what they did with all the bodies. Maybe there wasn't enough room in whichever mortuary they moved to. And if that was the case, they would probably be dumping the bodies in this dumpster that I'm peeing on, right? So then naturally, you tell your mind, oh, pish posh, you're being so irrational right now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna peek over this enclosure fence and I am going to prove to you that there are no dead bodies dumped in this dumpster. So what do? Mind you, this is all happening like within seconds, right? So I'm like beginning my pee experience. Then I peek over the enclosure wall, and no joke, there is a freaking body there in the dark. I can't like explain to you like what I saw. Like it was a bunch of bags of trash, and then there was this man laying there in the dark. Have you ever seen Mulholland Drive? Do you remember what was behind the dumpster in that movie? Do you remember? It had an effect like that on me. It was so freaking frightening, right? And here I am mid-pee. I literally jump and run. Pissing all over my pants, running. I pull up my pants. I hightail it past the car. I run to whichever building my dad like went into across the street, screaming bloody murder. There's a dead body. There's a dead body. There's a dead body. All these men, like you should have saw their faces. Sheer white, like sheer terror in their eyes. They're like just trying to like, I'm coming in, interrupting whatever they're doing, right? So they're taken by surprise, and then they have to deal with this like hyperventilating teenager that is freaking out, has piss all over his pants, freaking out that there's a dead body. So in an effort to console me, they all come across the street with me so I can show them what I saw in the dumpster that I was peeing on. And literally, like, I've never seen my dad so frightened in my life. He was like pushing his like 60-year-old friend like to go look before him because he was like so frightened by my reaction, because I was literally freaking out. I was screaming, there's a dead body, there's a dead body. I just pissed all over a dead body. Are you freaking kidding me? So the men creep up to the dumpster. I wasn't gonna look again. I was just like, it's there. Go look. I don't want to see it again. So they creep up to the dead body, or to the dumpster where I'm saying there is a dead body. They take a peek over, and then they come back to me and say, it's a sleeping bum. So I did not pee on a dead body, as clickbait as that sounds, but I peed on a sleeping bum. I didn't really pee on him, but I was peeing on the enclosure right on the other side of him. And the worst part of it was I was literally trying to like prove to myself that I was being irrational by having these crazy thoughts, right? And then to peek over the wall and see a body there, and he was asleep. So like, he was not animated in any way. Like, I wasn't sticking around to like see if he was breathing or snoring or whatever. I just saw what I saw, and I just took off running, peeing all over the place as I pulled up my pants and just hightailed it to wherever my dad was. And yeah, so didn't actually pee on a dead body. Don't think I want to pee on a dead body ever. I think I'm fine with the experience that I had, and it turned out to be a sleeping homeless person, which is not uncommon in Santa Monica. Santa Monica is kind of the mecca for homelessness because it's like having a penthouse apartment if you're homeless. You just like sleep on the beach. It's always 72 degrees. And I guess if the beach is full, you go find an abandoned mortuary to sleep at, because I don't know. I would be freaked out to sleep in an abandoned mortuary. I don't know about. I guess when you got to do what you got to do, you do what you got to do. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this little funny story. My dad loves to tell this story at parties. He does leave out the fact that he was scared shitless. I will say. He does not include that part. If I'm in the room, I definitely make sure to add that to the entire story because it's part of the color, you know? It's part of what makes it so freaking funny. I wish you could have saw my dad's face because like in that moment, like it was like one of those moments where it's like, oh, my parent is just a human being, actually. They're not gonna like save me from a dead zombie. They're gonna like push a bunch of their friends to go and check it out because he's too afraid to do anything about it. Well, okay, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Let me know in the comments down below if you enjoyed it and, you know, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. And I will see you next time, baby. Bye.